Why did they stop calling her name? She sat in the back of the briefing room, alone. The other operators filled the front rows, broad shoulders, crossed arms, voices low and certain. They knew the mission. They knew the valley. They knew each other. But they didn't know her. Sergeant Maya Reeves, Coulson Ghost. The intelligence officer clicked through satellite images. A compound, ridgelines, shadows where the enemy waited. The mission was simple on paper: extract a high-value target before dawn. Get in, get out, survive. Overwatch will be positioned here. The officer's laser pointer traced a rocky outcrop 2,000 meters from the compound. Elevation advantage, clear sightlines. No one looked back at her. Maya's fingers tightened around the strap of her rifle case. She'd made the shot before, farther, windier, under worse conditions, but none of that mattered in this room. What mattered was the silence, the way they pretended she wasn't there. She'd learned not to fight it, not to prove herself with words. The briefing ended, chairs scraped, boots shuffled toward the door. The team leader, Lieutenant Cade Morrison, decorated, respected, untouchable, paused near her row. He didn't look at her, he looked at the wall behind her. "We move in 4 hours, be ready." That was it. Maya stood. She slung her pack over one shoulder, her rifle case over the other. Outside, the desert wind scraped against her skin. The base was quiet, the kind of quiet that made you think too much. She walked to the armory, alone. Inside, under fluorescent lights that buzzed too loud, she assembled her rifle, piece by piece, barrel, bolt, scope. Each movement was muscle memory, meditation, the only conversation she trusted. Her spotter for this mission was supposed to be Corporal Jake Henson. She'd met him once. He'd shaken her hand like it was a formality, like she was a checkbox. Female sniper, check. Diversity, check. Actual skill, to be determined. He hadn't said it, but she'd heard it anyway. Maya zeroed her scope, adjusted for windage, for elevation, for the weight of being the only woman in a unit that didn't want her there. She didn't blame them, not really. She blamed the system that made them think she was a liability, a political statement, an experiment that might get them killed. But blame didn't change anything. Only bullets did. 4 hours later, they were in the air. The helicopter shook, rotors pounded. The team sat across from each other, faces painted, gear strapped tight. Maya was wedged near the tail. Henson sat beside her, checking his equipment, not his partner. She didn't try to talk. The noise made it pointless anyway. But she watched them, the way Morrison reviewed the tablet, the way the breacher Tors cracked his knuckles, the way the medic Chen stared at nothing. They were good, she could see that. And they were scared, she could see that too. The compound they were hitting wasn't just another target. Intelligence said it housed a bomb maker, someone who'd killed dozens, someone who'd walk free if they didn't move tonight. The stakes were clear. The helicopter banked, hard. Maya's stomach lurched. Below, the desert stretched black and endless. Somewhere in that darkness, the enemy was waiting. The pilot's voice crackled over comms. 2 minutes. Morrison stood. He didn't look at her, he looked at his team. Stay sharp, stay tight. Overwatch covers our approach. We breach, we clear, we extract. No heroes, no mistakes. The men nodded. Maya checked her rifle one last time. The helicopter descended, fast. The ground rushed up. Dust exploded. Before the skids touched down, the team was moving, boots hitting dirt, weapons up, spreading into the darkness. Maya and Henson peeled off. Different direction. Their route was longer, steeper. They had to reach the ridgeline before the assault team hit the compound. They ran. The rocky terrain cut at her boots. Her pack dug into her shoulders. Henson was faster, but she kept pace. She always kept pace. No words, just breathing, just movement. They climbed. The ridgeline was worse than the satellite images suggested. Loose rock, sharp edges, no cover except shadows. Maya dropped to her stomach and crawled the last 30 meters. Henson followed. At the edge, she set up, bipod down, rifle steady, scope to her eye. 2,000 meters below, the compound sat like a scar on the valley floor. Small, quiet, deceptive. Henson pulled out the spotting scope. He scanned, she waited. "I've got movement," he whispered. "Northeast corner, 2, maybe 3. Maya adjusted, found them, shadows with rifles, sentries. "Assault team is 3 minutes out," Henson said. Maya's finger rested outside the trigger guard. Not yet, not until Morrison gave the word. Her heart was calm, steady. This was the only place she ever felt certain. Through the scope the world narrowed. Wind, distance, gravity, all of it became math, predictable, controllable. Unlike the men who doubted her. Unlike the voices that said she didn't belong. Morrison's voice came through the comms, low, tense. "Overwatch, we're in position, call it." Henson keyed his mic. 2 sentries, northeast corner, 1 roaming, west side. Maya tracked the roaming guard. He moved slow, bored. He didn't know he had minutes left to live. "Take the shot when ready," Morrison said. Maya exhaled, slowly. The world disappeared. No team, no doubt, no fear. Just the reticle, just the target. She squeezed. The rifle kicked. The suppressor muffled the sound to a whisper. 2,000 meters away, the sentry dropped. Before his body hit the ground, she'd already shifted, found the second target, adjusted for wind. Squeezed again. He fell. "Target's down," Henson reported. Morrison's team moved in, fast, controlled, shadows pouring toward the compound. Maya scanned for more threats, rooftops, windows, alleys. Nothing. The assault team reached the door, breached, disappeared inside. Then the world exploded. Muzzle flashes erupted from a building they hadn't seen, a second structure, hidden behind the first. Morrison's voice cracked over comms. "Contact, contact, we're pinned." Henson cursed. "There's a whole other building. Intel missed it." Maya's scope swept across the new threat. She counted 8. No, 10. Armed, organized, moving to flank Morrison's team. "Overwatch, we need fire now," Morrison shouted. Maya's mind raced. 10 targets, multiple angles. Her team was trapped. Henson was calling out positions, but she was already moving, tracking, calculating. She fired. A fighter on the rooftop dropped. Shifted, fired, another fell. But they were spreading out, using cover. They knew where the shots were coming from now. And then she saw it. Something that made her blood freeze. A figure emerging from the shadows, carrying something long, tubular. "RPG. Henson. I see it." The fighter was angling toward Morrison's position. If he fired, the whole team would be gone. Maya's scope found him, but he was moving, erratic, behind cover. She had maybe 2 seconds before he was in position to fire. Her heart hammered, her breath hitched. This was the shot that mattered. Miss and everyone dies. She steadied, waited, 1 breath, 2. The fighter stepped into a gap, half a second of exposure. Maya fired. The bullet traveled for what felt like forever. And then the fighter collapsed. The RPG clattered to the ground. "Threat down," Henson yelled. But Maya didn't stop. She kept scanning, kept firing, covering the team as they fought their way out. Morrison's voice came through, breathless. "Overwatch, that was." He didn't finish. He didn't have to. Maya had just saved their lives. But she knew what would happen next, what always happened. They'd say it was luck, or that anyone could have made the shot. They'd find a way to make it smaller than it was. Because admitting she'd saved them meant admitting they'd been wrong about her. And some men would rather die than admit that. The firefight lasted another 3 minutes. Morrison's team secured the target and extracted under Maya's cover. She fired 22 rounds that night. 22 threats eliminated. When the helicopter lifted off, she was back in the tail, alone. Henson sat beside her, but he still didn't look at her. No one did. Except Morrison just once, a glance brief, unreadable. Then he looked away. Maya leaned her head back against the vibrating metal. Her rifle rested across her lap, still warm. She'd done her job again. And tomorrow, she'd have to prove herself all over again. Because that's what it meant to be a woman in a world that didn't want you there. You didn't get to be good. You had to be perfect. Every single time. Why didn't they mention her name in the debrief? Maya sat in the same briefing room. Different day, same seat in the back. Morrison stood at the front. He walked through the mission, the approach, the breach, the unexpected contact. Thanks to effective overwatch, we neutralized the threat and completed the extraction. Effective overwatch. Not her name, not her call sign. Just a function, a tool. The commander nodded. Good work, Lieutenant. Your team showed excellent discipline under fire. Your team. Maya's jaw tightened. She stared at her hands, calloused, steady, the same hands that had saved them. The meeting ended. The operators filed out. Morrison lingered near the door. For a moment, Maya thought he might say something. He didn't. Later in the chow hall, she sat alone. Again, tray in front of her, food she didn't taste. Across the room, Morrison's team laughed, told war stories, relived the mission with the kind of adrenaline that only came after survival. She could hear fragments of their conversation. Did you see that RPG guy drop? Overwatch was on it. Yeah, that was clutch. But no one said her name. No one looked her way. Maya finished eating, dumped her tray, walked back to her quarters. Inside, she sat on her bunk. The room was small, Spartan, a locker, a desk, a window that looked out at nothing. She pulled out her phone, scrolled through messages. Her sister had sent photos. Her niece's birthday party, balloons, cake, smiles. A different world, one where people celebrated you just for existing. Maya stared at the photos for a long time. Then she put the phone away. She didn't belong in that world anymore. But she didn't belong in this one either. 3 days later, they deployed again. Different mission, same valley. This time the target was a weapons cache. Intelligence said it was lightly guarded, quick in and out. Maya was assigned Overwatch again, with Henson again. The pattern was clear now. They'd put her on the ridgeline because she was good, but they wouldn't put her in the stack because she was a woman. She could save them from 2,000 meters away. But standing next to them, that was too much. The mission brief was short. Morrison barely looked at her. Same protocol. Overwatch covers the approach. We clear the cache and exfil. Maya nodded, not that anyone was watching for it. That night the helicopter dropped them in the same valley. The terrain was familiar now. The ridgeline, the rocks, the long crawl to position. Henson was quieter this time. Maybe the last mission had changed something, maybe not. They set up Maya's rifle, Henson's spotting scope. Below, the cache was hidden in a cave system, natural tunnels, bad visibility. Morrison's team moved in, slow, careful. Maya scanned the ridgelines across from her, looking for threats, for movement. She found it. Henson. He looked up. There, she didn't take her eye off the scope. Opposite ridge, 11 o'clock, 200 meters above the cave entrance. Henson adjusted his scope, swore softly. A sniper nest, enemy dug in, camouflaged. And it had a perfect angle on Morrison's team. Overwatch to assault. You've got a sniper nest, opposite ridge. They have eyes on you. Morrison's voice came back, tense. Can you take them? Maya calculated distance, wind, elevation difference. 2,400 meters, uphill, cross-valley wind gusting at 12 miles per hour. I can try. Don't try, do it. We're sitting ducks down here. Maya adjusted her scope, dialed in the corrections. The enemy sniper was barely visible, just the edge of a rifle barrel, a shadow of a shoulder. No room for error. She waited, breathing, watching. The enemy sniper shifted, just slightly. It was enough. Maya fired. The bullet arced across the valley. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the enemy sniper slumped forward. "Threat down," Henson called. But Maya was already scanning. Where there's one sniper, there's usually a spotter. She found him scrambling, reaching for a radio. She fired again. He dropped. Morrison's team moved into the cave, fast now, confident. Maya kept watch, kept them safe. 20 minutes later, they emerged, mission complete. On the flight back, Morrison walked to the tail of the helicopter, sat down across from her. He had to shout over the rotors. That shot, 2,400 meters. Maya didn't respond. "I've seen a lot of snipers, that was," he paused, searching for words. "That was something else." She met his eyes, waited. "I just wanted to say, good work." 2 words, that's all it was. But it was the first time he'd acknowledged her directly. Maya nodded once. "Just doing my job, sir." Morrison studied her for a moment longer. Then he stood, walked back to his team. Henson leaned close, spoke into her ear. "He's never done that before, walked back here, said anything." Maya didn't answer. She stared out the open door of the helicopter, at the desert rushing past below. She'd proven herself, again. But she knew the truth. 1 mission wasn't enough, 2 wasn't enough. She'd have to be perfect forever. Because the moment she missed, the moment she failed, they'd use it as proof. Proof that she never should have been there in the first place. And that weight, that burden of perfection, it was heavier than any rifle she'd ever carried. What would it take for them to say her name? Maya lay on her bunk, staring at the ceiling. The base was quiet. Most of the team was out celebrating another successful mission. Beers, stories, brotherhood. She wasn't invited. She never was. Her phone buzzed, a message from her mom. "Saw the news. Another operation in your area. Please tell me you're safe." Maya typed back, "I'm fine, can't talk about work, love you." The response came quickly. "I worry about you. Are they treating you okay?" Maya stared at the question. How did you explain this to someone who'd never lived it? They didn't treat her badly, not really. No one yelled, no one threatened, no one crossed lines. They just erased her. Ignored her contributions, avoided her eyes, spoke around her like she was furniture. Death by 1,000 small omissions. "They're fine, Mom, I'm good, really." She sent the message, turned off her phone. Sleep didn't come easy. The next morning she was called to the commander's office. Colonel Briggs, a man with 30 years of service and a wall full of commendations. He gestured to a chair. "Sergeant Reeves, sit." She sat. Briggs leaned back, studied her. "You've been with this unit for 4 months now, 2 deployments, 11 missions." "Yes, sir." "Your performance has been exceptional. Lieutenant Morrison's reports mention your overwatch capabilities specifically. That's unusual. He doesn't praise easily." Maya waited. There was always a but. But Briggs continued, "I'm hearing things, tension, friction." "Sir, I haven't." He held up a hand. "I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm asking if you're okay, if this placement is working for you." It was a trap, she could feel it. If she said yes, she was lying. If she said no, she was weak. "I'm fine, sir. I knew what I was signing up for." Briggs nodded slowly. "I respect that, but I need you to understand something. Integration isn't easy, not for you, not for them. Change takes time." "With respect, sir, how much time? I've proven myself, multiple times, and I'm still treated like." She stopped, caught herself. Like what? Briggs asked quietly. Maya's hands tightened on the armrests, like I don't belong. Briggs sighed. He looked older suddenly, tired. You're right, you've proven yourself, but some of these men, they've been doing this for 15, 20 years. They've seen friends die. They've seen experiments fail. Women in combat roles is still new, still controversial. So I have to keep proving myself, forever. No, Briggs leaned forward. You have to be so undeniably good that they can't ignore you. Not because you're a woman, but because you're the best damn sniper they've ever seen. Maya's throat tightened. I am the best. I know, but you need them to know it too, viscerally, undeniably. How? Briggs pulled a folder from his desk, slid it across to her. There's another mission, high priority, high risk, the kind of thing that makes or breaks careers. Maya opened the folder, satellite images, target profiles, terrain maps. What is this? A hostage situation, an American journalist taken by a militant group. They're moving her tomorrow through a mountain pass, narrow, defended, nearly impossible to assault. Maya's eyes scanned the briefing. Nearly. We'd need someone to take out their sentries, from distance, in sequence, without alerting the convoy. How many sentries? 5 spread across 3 kilometers of ridge, elevation changes, wind corridors, low light conditions. Maya looked up. This is a suicide mission for a sniper. It's an impossible mission, Briggs corrected. Which is why I'm offering it to you. You can say no, no one would blame you. And if I say yes, then you'll be the lead sniper. Morrison's team will handle the extraction, but they won't move until you clear the path. Everything depends on you. Maya stared at the folder. 5 targets, 3 kilometers, 1 chance. When? Briefing is tonight, mission is dawn. She closed the folder, looked Briggs in the eye. I'll do it. Briggs nodded. I thought you might dismissed. Maya stood, walked to the door, paused. Sir, why me? Why not one of the male snipers? Briggs met her gaze. Because you're the best, and it's time everyone else realized it too. That night the briefing room was packed, more people than usual. Word had spread, the impossible mission. Maya sat in her usual spot, back row. But this time, when Morrison stood to brief the team, he looked directly at her. This mission is different, it's complex, it's dangerous, and it depends entirely on our overwatch. He pulled up a topographical map. Sergeant Reeves will be positioned here. He pointed to a peak. She'll have eyes on the entire pass. 5 sentries, 5 shots, no misses, no alerts. Someone in the front row spoke up. What if she misses? Morrison's jaw tightened. She won't. But what if? She won't, Morrison repeated, harder this time. I've seen her work, you haven't, so I'm telling you she won't miss. The room went quiet. Maya's heart pounded. Morrison had just defended her, publicly. He continued. Once the path is clear, we move in, extract the hostage, exfil before reinforcements arrive. Timing is everything, trust is everything. He looked around the room. Any questions? Silence. Good, wheels up at 400, get some rest. The room emptied. Maya stood to leave. Reeves, Morrison's voice stopped her. She turned. He walked over, spoke quietly. I need you to know something. This mission, if you're not confident, if there's any doubt, you tell me now. Maya held his gaze. There's no doubt. Morrison studied her face, searching for cracks. He wouldn't find any. All right then, don't make me a liar. I won't, sir. He nodded, started to walk away, then stopped. Reeves. Yes, sir. Good luck tomorrow. Thank you, sir. He left. Maya stood alone in the empty briefing room. Tomorrow, she would either prove herself beyond all doubt, or she would fail and confirm every suspicion they'd ever had. There was no middle ground. Not for her. There never had been. How do you sleep the night before everything changes? Maya didn't. She lay on her bunk, eyes open, watching shadows move across the ceiling. Outside, the base was quiet. Inside, her mind was a storm. 5 targets, 3 kilometers, sequential shots. Each one had to be perfect. If she missed the first, the others would scatter. If she alerted them, the hostage would die. If she hesitated, Morrison's team would walk into an ambush. No pressure. She'd run the calculations 100 times. Wind speed, bullet drop, temperature, humidity, every variable accounted for. But there was one variable she couldn't control. Herself. What if her hands shook? What if her breath caught? What if the weight of it all, the expectations, the doubt, the need to be perfect, what if it finally crushed her? She turned over, checked her watch, 200. 2 hours until wheels up. She gave up on sleep, got dressed, walked to the armory. Inside, under the familiar buzz of fluorescent lights, she found her rifle, disassembled it, cleaned every piece, even though it was already clean. The ritual calmed her, muscle memory, meditation. This rifle had never let her down. She wouldn't let it down either. At 3:45, she walked to the tarmac. The helicopter was waiting, rotors already spinning. Morrison's team was loading gear. They moved with practiced efficiency, no wasted motion. She approached, loaded her pack, her rifle case. Torres, the breacher, nodded at her. First time he'd acknowledged her existence. Chen, the medic, did the same. Small gestures, but they meant something. Morrison appeared, checked his watch. Everyone accounted for, let's move. They boarded, the helicopter lifted off. Maya watched the base shrink below. The lights, the familiar structures, the only home she had now. They flew for 40 minutes, low, fast, following terrain to avoid radar. Finally, the pilot's voice crackled, 2 minutes to drop. Morrison stood, addressed the team. Remember the plan. Reeves clears the path. We move on her signal, fast and quiet. The hostage's life depends on timing. Our lives depend on trust. He looked at Maya. You ready? She met his eyes. Yes, sir. The helicopter descended. Maya and Henson jumped first. Different LZ from the assault team. They had farther to go. They hit the ground running. The terrain was brutal, rocky, steep. They climbed for 30 minutes, no talking, just breathing, just pain. Finally, they reached the position, a narrow ledge overlooking the pass. Maya dropped, set up her rifle. Henson pulled out his spotting scope. Below, in the pre-dawn darkness, she could barely make out the pass, a thin ribbon of road cutting through the mountains. First sentry, Henson whispered. 1 o'clock, 800 meters. Maya adjusted, found him, a shadow on a ridge, barely visible. Second sentry, 3 o'clock, 1,200 meters. She scanned, found him. One by one, Henson called them out. 5 positions, 3 kilometers of ridgeline. Maya memorized each one, the distances, the angles, the sequence. She had one chance to get this right. The sky began to lighten, dawn was coming. And with it the convoy. Morrison's voice came through the comms. Overwatch, what's your status? In position, Henson replied. 5 targets identified. Stand by, convoy is 3 minutes out. Maya controlled her breathing, slow, steady. Her finger moved to the trigger. This was it. Everything she'd worked for, everything she'd endured, every doubt, every dismissal, every silent meal, every ignored achievement. It all came down to this moment. 5 shots, 5 lives, 1 sniper. The convoy appeared, 3 vehicles, moving slowly through the pass. In the middle vehicle somewhere was the hostage, an American journalist named Sarah Chen, taken 3 weeks ago, beaten, starved, waiting to die. Unless Maya was perfect. First sentry is moving, Henson said, range holding at 800. Maya found him in her scope. He was stretching, yawning, completely unaware. Wind is 2 miles per hour, left to right. She adjusted fractionally. Take the shot when ready, Morrison's voice said. Maya's world contracted. Nothing existed except the crosshairs, the target, the breath. She exhaled halfway. Held. Squeezed. The rifle whispered. 800 meters away, the first sentry dropped without a sound. Target 1 down, Henson confirmed. Moving to target 2. Maya was already there, 1,200 meters, different angle, stronger wind. She adjusted, calculated, fired. The second sentry fell. Target 2 down. The convoy kept moving, unaware, perfect. Target 3, 2 o'clock, 1,800 meters, elevated position. This one was harder, farther, higher. The wind was unpredictable at that distance. Maya found him. He was alert, scanning, professional. She waited, watching, learning his pattern. He turned, looked away. She fired. He collapsed. Target 3 down. 3 down, 2 to go. But the next 2 were the hardest, 2,200 meters and 2,600 meters, both on opposite sides of the pass. She'd have to swing between them, fast, before anyone noticed the bodies. Target 4, 9 o'clock, 2,200 meters. Maya pivoted, found him. He was moving, patrolling a small section of ridge, never staying still. She tracked him, waited for the moment, the pause, the breath. There. She fired. He went down. Target 4 down, last one, 3 o'clock, 2,600 meters, wind is picking up. Maya swung right. The final sentry was the farthest, the most exposed, and the most alert. He was standing near the edge of his position, radio in hand, looking down at the convoy. If he radioed now, everything would collapse. Maya's scope found him, but the distance was extreme. The wind was gusting, 15 miles per hour, maybe more. She had one shot. Miss, and he'd alert everyone. Miss, and Sarah Chen would die. Miss, and she'd prove them all right. Reeves, Morrison's voice tense. We need to move now. Hold, she whispered. She watched the wind, the flags on the vehicles below, the dust, the way the sentry's jacket moved. Calculated, adjusted, held her breath. And fired. The bullet flew for what felt like an eternity. 2,600 meters, through swirling wind, through doubt, through fear. And then the sentry fell. Target 5 down, Henson said. His voice was shaking. All clear, all clear. Morrison's team moved, fast, silent, ghosts in the dawn. Maya kept her scope on the pass, watching, protecting. The assault team reached the convoy. 3 seconds to breach the vehicles, 5 seconds to locate the hostage, 10 seconds to extract her. Sarah Chen was alive, barely but alive. Package secured, moving to exfil. Maya watched them run, watched them carry Sarah between them, watched them disappear into the rocks. No alarms, no pursuit, no casualties. Perfect. Overwatch get to the LZ, birds inbound. Maya and Henson packed up, moved fast. The adrenaline was fading now. Her hands started to shake. She'd done it. 5 shots, 5 kills, 0 mistakes. The helicopter picked them up. Morrison's team was already inside. Sarah Chen lay on a stretcher. Chen was treating her. She was crying, alive. Maya collapsed into her seat, her rifle across her lap. Morrison crossed the helicopter, sat next to her. He didn't say anything at first, just sat there. Then he pulled off his helmet, looked at her. I've been doing this for 15 years. I've worked with dozens of snipers, some good, some great. He paused. I've never seen anything like that, ever. Maya met his eyes, exhausted, empty. 2,600 meters in wind. That last shot, Morrison shook his head. That was impossible, but you made it anyway. He stood, addressed the entire team, raised his voice over the rotors. Listen up, what you just witnessed, what Sergeant Reeves just did, that's the kind of skill that saves lives. Our lives. He looked around at each man. From now on, anyone who has a problem with her being on this team can take it up with me, because I'd rather go into hell with her covering my back than anyone else I know. The team was silent. Then Tors started clapping, slow at first, then Chen joined, then Henson. Then everyone. Maya sat there, stunned, the sound of applause mixing with rotor wash. Morrison extended his hand. She took it. Welcome to the team, Ghost. For the first time in 4 months, she smiled. When they landed, Colonel Briggs was waiting on the tarmac. Sarah Chen was rushed to medical. The team disembarked. Briggs approached Maya. I heard the radio chatter 5 for 5. Is that accurate? Yes, sir. Briggs studied her. Then he did something unexpected. He saluted. Outstanding work, Sergeant. The kind of work that earns medals and respect. Maya returned the salute. Thank you, sir. Debrief is in 2 hours. Get some food, get some rest. You've earned it. As Briggs walked away, Morrison appeared beside her. There's something you should know. The debrief today, it's not just for the mission. There are some people from command who want to meet you, talk about your future. My future. Your skills are too valuable to keep hidden. They want to expand the program, more female snipers, and they want you to help train them. Maya felt something unfamiliar, hope. I don't know what to say. Morrison smiled. Say yes. The military needs more people like you, people who are so damn good that gender becomes irrelevant. He started to walk away, then turned back. And Maya, for what it's worth, I'm sorry, for how we treated you, for how long it took us to see what was right in front of us. You deserved better. Maya's throat tightened. Thank you, sir, that means everything. Morrison nodded. The team's getting drinks later, you should come, as one of us. I will. He left. Maya stood alone on the tarmac. The sun was rising now, painting the desert in gold. She thought about the journey, the silence, the doubt, the weight of being perfect. And she realized something. She'd never been fighting them. She'd been fighting a system, a culture, 1,000 years of assumptions about what women could and couldn't do. But she'd won. Not by being loud, not by demanding recognition. By being so undeniably excellent that silence was no longer an option. That night Maya walked into the bar where Morrison's team had gathered. The conversation stopped. Men turned. Tors stood, pulled out a chair next to him. Ghost, over here. She sat. Chen handed her a beer. To the best damn shot I've ever seen. They clinked bottles. And for the first time since she joined the unit, Maya belonged. Not as a woman. Not as an experiment. As a warrior. As an equal. As someone who'd earned her place through skill, courage, and an unwavering refusal to be anything less than exceptional. Morrison raised his glass. To Ghost, who taught us that the only thing that matters in combat isn't gender, it's competence. To Ghost, the team echoed. Maya smiled, drank, felt the warmth of acceptance she'd chased for so long. Later, walking back to her quarters under a sky full of stars, she pulled out her phone, texted her mom. I'm good, Mom, really good, finally. The response came quickly. I knew you would be. I'm so proud of you. Maya looked up at the stars, thought about all the women who'd come before, who'd fought, who'd failed, who'd paved the way. And she thought about the women who'd come after, the ones who'd have it easier because she'd made it harder for anyone to say women can't. She'd proven something important. Not just to them. To herself. That dignity doesn't demand recognition. It simply performs, perfectly, until recognition has no choice but to follow. And in that moment, Standing alone under an endless sky, Maya Reeves finally felt like she was exactly where she belonged. Sometimes the loudest statement is silence. The most powerful proof is action. And the greatest victory is not in being accepted, but in being undeniable.